So for this, the Windows 7 installation, I'll be using a virtual PC so I can show you guys, usually, which means it's gonna be as if you're installing Windows 7 on a new machine right in here. So usually at first you want to press F12 or some type of thing like right down here. Let me just do it again. Right here, F12. For the boot manager. So usually when you... Here's a full screen. As if you're installing on a new computer. So basically, when you enter a computer configuration right at the beginning, you want to press F12 or whatever it says on the motherboard that says boot manager. Usually you have the BIOS, which you have to press delete in order to get into the motherboard settings, or next to it, it should have something that says boot manager, which basically tells the motherboard which device it should boot from. That's a temporary boot order, you could say. So for now, we would like it to boot from a CD-ROM, so you press C, I believe. In here we have the Windows loading files. So when you actually tell the motherboard to load off the CD, to boot off the CD, it will start Windows from the CD. For the Windows installation, I have like a fresh Windows copy installation on the hard drive. So here we go. So right now this is as if we're installing it on a new computer. This is what you will see for the first screen you see when you open up the computer, like on another computer, when you open it up on new and you tell the motherboard to boot off the CD-ROM. So you press next, you set the language to install to English, time and currency format English United States, keyboard input is US. You have a couple of configurations if you have like an Arabic keyboard. I believe this is it or something. Anyways, so we set all this in US. It usually should be the default configuration. Press next. Install now. Over here you have a couple of options, like for example what to know before installing Windows. We will skip that because I'm telling you all this. Alhamdulillah. Repair your computer is another option that users have in order to repair a couple of things in the hard drive if things go wrong, as for example the boot manager. When you have a couple of operating systems inside one computer and you would like to organize those in order to basically boot to whatever operating system you would like. Give me a second. We have the adhan thing going. Anyways, let's go back to the installation. Okay, so basically as I was saying, Bismillah. You have the repair computer, you can go into command prompt, you can do all the startup options, like for example if you have a couple of startup problems, you can fix it from here, and etc. But now we're just going to focus on install now. So we'll press that once. Setup is starting. This is what you will see when you're installing it on a new computer. This is a small window. Right at the beginning, I believe some of you guys already know, and if not, inshallah your instructor explains it a little bit more in detail. When you open up the computer, you have two options, or you can basically three options. The third one is not doing anything to the computer, so it boots up normally. Two options is, one of them is pressing something in order to get into the BIOS settings, while the other is the boot manager, and the boot manager, as I said, tells the motherboard which device it should boot from. So it starts an installation or starts an operating system. So for example, if I tell the device to boot off a hard drive, it will boot the operating system. Or if I tell it to boot off a CD-ROM, it will boot the CD-ROM, which will start up a setup or some type of whatever is supposed to boot from that CD-ROM inside the CD device. So usually you have the Windows 7 installation CD inside the CD-ROM, where you tell the computer to boot off the CD-ROM in order to start the Windows 7 installation CD, Windows 7 installation from the Windows 7 CD. So anyways, so when you do that, then this screen pops up and you follow on the instructions, which leads you to this window right here, which you accept the license terms, press next. Custom advanced upgrade is usually when you want to upgrade, for example, to Windows, from Windows Vista to Windows 7 and so forth, so you can keep all your files. But this right here, and this only works when you're inside the operating system itself. As you can see here, the computer started using the Windows installation disk and so forth. But we need the custom advanced, which is install a new copy of Windows as seen here. So here it will show you the hard drives that is inside, which you are basically the hard drive options, which this window right here gives the user the opportunity to install the operating system in whichever partition that he wills. As for example, over here we only have one hard drive, which is 20 gigabytes. So you can just press new, actually customize it to have your own space, so you can have two partitions. Partition is a small part of a hard drive, which basically you're telling the hard drive to be two hard drives, but it's actually one hard drive in the physical layer, but two hard drives inside the computer itself. So as for example, if you're when I press apply, now you have a 19 gigabyte and then 1 gigabyte. So as if you have two hard drive, which one of them is 1 gigabyte, which is 10, well, approximately 1 gigabyte, around that, and another one which is 19 gigabytes. You see, now you can install an operating system right here and have this as a recovery, but right now we're going to use the entire hard drive. So usually you can have format, all that stuff, delete. New is how you create two hard drives, how you make two hard drives inside one hard drive. So anyways, cancel. Load driver. This right here, this option lets you load a driver for the hard drive. In order, like if a hard drive is unrecognized, then you can have a driver CD of some sort, so it can recognize the hard drive itself. So anyways, so we would like to use this entire hard drive right here. So press next, and this should start the installation. Which I will stop the video right here until the installation finishes, inshallah. Okay, so basically I just paused this till the end. Now it should start restarting. Here we go. 7, 6, press restart now. Right here, F12, select boot device, press any key to boot from CD. Right now you do not want to boot from the CD or DVD, you want to boot from the hard drive itself. so you just let that go. That means that if you want to boot from the CD or DVD, you press any key, which in this case we have not, so now it is booting from the hard drive itself. In order to complete the Windows installation, and this is basically the stuff you see when you're installing Windows fresh new on a new computer. Setup is updating registry settings. Now you're gonna set a couple of settings, as for example username, time, and so forth, and then complete the installation. Like right now it is like basically done. You have installed it, the computer is almost done installing Windows. Almost. So let's just wait till the completing installation goes on. Usually you wanna skip for I'm gonna inshallah skip forth to when the installation is done, just to show you guys the restart process.